Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to discharge the Committee on Ways and Means from further consideration Assembly Bill number A 2017, sponsored by myself, for the purpose of bringing the same before the House for its immediate consideration and request permission to explain it.
The motion is in order. On the motion, Mr. Slater.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a simple and very common sense measure, one that updates New York's tax code to reflect economic realities. Under current law, for those who may not know, New Yorkers over the age of 59 and a half can exempt up to $20,000 in private pension, annuity, and retirement income from our state taxes. The thing is, that threshold was set in 1981. That's the same year that the IBM personal computer was introduced, and when the median home cost around our state was $70,000, and the price of the pump was $1.25 a gallon. So here we are 40 plus years later, and we're still using that same number from 1981, despite the fact that we're living in a vastly different economy with rising costs and a retirement system that has fundamentally changed. And this isn't abstract for me. Like many New Yorkers, I think about this through my own family. My mom is approaching retirement, and she did everything right. She worked, she saved, she planned, and like so many people in that position, she's asking a very simple question. Did I save enough to stay here in New York? That's not a question anyone who did everything right should have to ask. But when you look at the numbers, the system hasn't kept up. $20,000 in 1981 is equivalent to well over $60,000 today when adjusted for inflation. Yet we are telling seniors that $20,000 is enough in one of the most expensive states in the country. At the same time, retirees today aren't relying solely on traditional pensions. Many depend on IRAs, 401ks, and other retirement plans. A 2017, this bill before us, updates this outdated policy by expanding the exemption to reflect how people actually save for retirement today and increasing it in a responsible and phased-in way. This isn't radical policy, we're simply catching up. And frankly, we're already behind. And Madam Speaker, that's exactly why this bill should not remain in committee. This is not a theoretical issue, it's one we all hear about in our districts every single day. A motion to discharge is about giving this full body the opportunity to debate and vote on an issue that directly impacts affordability. And if we're serious about addressing the cost of living in New York, then this is a conversation we should be having on the floor, not one that remains in committee. New York consistently ranks among the least affordable states in the nation, driven in large part by our high tax burden. And that lack of affordability is having real consequences. Between 2020 and 2024, New York lost nearly 1 million residents, second to only California. As a percentage of population, we lost more than any other state. A national analysis ranked New York as one of the worst states to retire in, primarily due to affordability. These are individuals who have spent decades working here, decades raising their families here, paying taxes here, and when they retire, they choose to leave. And I'm sure you hear it like I do, neighbors talking less about if they'll leave New York and more about when. And when you ask them why, it's because they're on fixed incomes, because property taxes are way too high, because energy costs are way too high, and because everyday expenses from groceries to healthcare are higher than in most of the country. And the data backs these claims up. According to AARP, nearly half of older New Yorkers are cutting back on basic necessities just to pay their utility bills. And more than 1 in 5 are going into debt to keep up. At the same time, the median income for a senior in New York is about $60,000, while the cost of basic care can exceed that entirely. That's not sustainable. And when seniors look at neighboring states, the contrast is clear. To our neighbors in New Jersey, retirement income exemptions are significantly higher than here in New York. In Pennsylvania, retirement income is largely not taxed at all. And in states like Florida, there is no state income tax, period. So when retirees are making decisions about their future, they're not just comparing weather temperatures, they're comparing policies. And right now, New York is losing in that comparison. And we talk a lot in this chamber about affordability. Well, this is one of the most direct ways that we can address it. If we allow retirees to keep more of their income, they are more likely to stay in their homes, remain close to their families, and continue contributing to their local economies, and of course, our great communities. And let's be clear, it's not just about fairness, it's about fiscal reality. At a time when New Yorkers are facing some of the highest costs of living in the nation, the very least we can do is modernize a tax provision that hasn't changed since the early 1980s, since before the king of pop ever became the king of pop. This bill simply says if you worked your whole life, saved responsibly, and are now living on a fixed income, we should not be taxing you based on prices from 1981. And that's a conversation this body deserves to vote on. So I urge my colleagues to support this motion, allow A 2017 to come to the floor. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.